second straight week where we've seen the offense really go down the field, score a lot of points. But on the other side of the ball, the offense struggled to get stops until late. I mean, is this type of play sustainable? I mean, and from one side of the ball playing this well to the other side, not being able to get stops for much of the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see it the opposite way. I see that I see a strong example of complementary football. There's been instances all season I'm really fired up about with the team, where one phase, the whole stadium and both teams can feel that they don't have momentum right now. For this game, it was defensively they were able to convert some stuff and really stay on the field and dominate time of possession for the first three quarters, really. But what I'm happy about is the resolve. Of course, you want to dominate your opponent. They get paid to. They did a good job. We were hoping to get some turnovers, and they didn't really allow give us opportunities to. They were very strategic in how they approached the game plan, I feel like, and keeping the ball out of our hands and to their credit, Justin Fields is as dynamic with the ball in his hands as any player in the league, really. So it'll never be sustainable for one side of the ball to dominate in the National Football League anyway. It's hard to within one game, and what I'm just happy about is when the offense wasn't able to score points, the defense found their best play, and that's what we're going to build on moving forward.
178 yards from Justin Fields running. What did you see that allowed him to be that successful and really keep that offense going for him?
That was the big point of emphasis going into the game. Just knowing how he's really helped, really change that offense's complexion the last couple weeks. So you do your best. There was a couple missed tackles live that I saw that you'd love to have, but ultimately you just have to continue to stress rush lanes, and we got to improve on our plan that we were trying to execute. That type of you run into those type of players once in a while in the National Football League, and you've got to be able to take away what they're doing really well. We were able to do that for probably the first three quarters, but I'm just happy that we did in the fourth.
Fourth and one in the fourth quarter, you choose to go for it. Was that
which?
It would have made it 35. They wouldn't have made it a 6-point game. You chose to go for it. Did that have anything to do with the missed field goal earlier in the day?
It had to do with the elements, which direction we were going. I wasn't. Every decision is independent, really, in those situations. I know we've had a lot of situations where I have gone for it. That doesn't mean I'm a riverboat type guy, and then I'm just going to do that all the time. But in this particular situation, had we been going the opposite end, probably would have kicked it. But that was in the stadium in general, it's kind of a whirling, unpredictable gust type situation. And I liked so I just thought it was safer and playing to the style of game a little bit more to go ahead and go. Didn't work out, but it was definitely influenced by the weather and which direction we were going.
Same sequence, what happened to burn those two timeouts in that same sequence?
There was one timeout where I think there was a huddle situation. Another one, it was probably the second time all year that I was going to get him the play that I wanted too late, probably with like 19 seconds on the clock. So instead of trying to rush it, I just let it bleed out and tried to get the appropriate play. So there was a situation that the communication in the huddle was a little off on one of the timeouts, and there was another situation where it was me just choosing to do that because I was going to get it in too late.
Mike, off the first question, reason one is the offense is just two of keeping this. You see growth week to week and keeping composure and maturity and whatever's hitting you guys defensively.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, it's really, it's as the growth, really since we started. I think our first team meeting was April 4th. And so in 7 months' time, the growth has been unbelievable in how he's playing the position, learning the whole system, and then how he's handling the ebbs and flows of natural in-game momentum. And saw it again today. He's didn't really give the defense an opportunity to take the ball away, really. And then he just continues to impress by being, through the course of the game, just taking one play at a time. And the players themselves can really feel the visceral confidence and energy that he's bringing forth to play the position and responding to it on both sides of the ball, I feel like.
What did Chubb and Wilson offer to the team today?
Oh, it was very, very good play by both of them. The particular individuals, not just their skills, but the human beings. Getting them this week was exactly what we had hoped. They're the type of people that are both physical, but team guys and very talented. So that really paid off all week. Had everyone real excited. I think that it paid off in several people's statistics defensively. The rotation, the guys were able to be a little more fresh, and he was in and around the ball a ton. And then Jeff was exactly what I'd known from my experience with him. He's a big game player that really thrives when his number's called upon, and to bring that aggressiveness, and then made a couple plays in the pass game that were pretty cool. So real happy with those two guys. Glad they're with us.
Nice score on special teams. Your perspective of Jalen Phillips blocking and then Van Ginkel.
No, we were hoping. We knew we were gonna shoot our shot, so to speak, on and try to get one. And to when you have those opportunities, not only do you have to get home, but you have to be on the spot. For Jalen to come through like that was phenomenal, and to turn it into immediate points with Van Ginkel's scoop and score. It's pretty cool that I think those two also with maybe that doesn't happen if that group isn't as fresh and we can't use them as much on special teams. So the whole team benefits when everyone's playing and contributing, and it was awesome to see those guys flourish then.
Like in the first half, we saw you guys work your way down pretty easily. I believe there were about 40 seconds left. You had an illegal, four-man that pushed you back, and you had to burn a timeout to save the time. You ended up kicking a field goal, but can you just kind of walk me through what happened there? And,
Well, so the kind of the mode of operation, or what we're trying to do, is you have the ball, and you're trying to have one or two things happen. You're either finishing the half with points or the ball, because that ensures that the other side doesn't get an opportunity, which is what our kind of mode was, where you'll see at the end of halves, there'll be times that we're moving the ball well, but we're taking the whole 40-second clock to knowing that we have a chance to lap them in the second half, getting the ball back, and then that the 12 men kind of threw me off a hair. So then after, we called the third down play, and it was surprisingly short. It wasn't. I was thinking it was going to be a first down, just by the depth of the route, and so I immediately took a timeout right after the completion. In hindsight, had I would known that it would have been fourth and short, and we didn't get enough distance, I would have waited until like 4 seconds before I called the timeout. But there was solid execution. There's a couple things that we can learn from, and then I will adjust my vantage point because my angle from where the spot was and where the first down chains ended up hurting us in that given moment.
Like,
Go ahead.
I apologize if you've been asked before, but there are a lot of running quarterbacks and a lot of mobile guys. What was it about Fields that made the running element so difficult to contain?
Well, he's as fast as any skill position runner. They're like, he is really, really fast, and he can cut and break tackles. So there are a lot of running quarterbacks. This one in particular, I think, is very elite and adept at that. And so then in those type of situations, it ultimately comes down to like an arm tackle a lot of times that are a difference between a sack and a 40-yard explosive. So you have to go back to the drawing board, and then when you ultimately are in a situation against a player like that, you have to recognize how big of arm tackles those are. Where you're half engaged with the lineman and you've got an arm on the guy. You've got to find a way to wrap up a leg or do something like that, because he makes those very small windows of opportunity gigantic very fast. We had a plan. They definitely got the better of us in that regard. So we'll take a look at the tape and see how we can improve, because that's something that will always be the case in this league. There's going to be, dynamic players at that position.
Last question. So Tyreek had a big day, 20 yards per catch. He's over 1,000 receiving yards for the season now. And there was one play in particular that I'm not going to describe this very well, but it was his 39-yard catch. I think it was in the second quarter. He's in like a bunch formation on the right side.
Yep, another one.
Okay, I wanted you to kind of explain that route to me, because it was so cool. He kind of just like casually like walked a couple steps and then burst down. So I wanted to know what you see in him in that, and what exactly like that route is for him.
I know there's certain times where you can utilize his unparalleled 0 to 60 burst. And that particular play, he was an option for the quarterback that, if they gave us a certain coverage and they were, attacking internally with man coverage, attacking internally in the inside part of the field, that he'd be able to find his way through traffic, and we could layer something out there. So it's something that you're not really afforded that option to do a play like that. That comes up a ton with our players. We're able to do some pretty cool stuff that is just kind of like abstract, creative thought with a lot of guys. But this, with him in particular, he could find his way through traffic, and then the key is that him and Tua are on the same page, which they were. It was a very big play in the second quarter.